The call in the vent. I live in a real rural area, kind of a middle of nowhere place, about 20 minutes to the nearest town, which is really more like a village. Well, anyway, I've been living in my house alone for about a year, which is actually a camping cabin. The land that it's on used to be a popular hunting ground in the 70s and 80s, but the wildlife has mostly been hunted down and hunters went elsewhere. So just a few days ago, I was laying in bed watching Hulu when I heard a phone ring from a distance. I only have one cell phone, which I was using at the time, and no landline. It went off for a few seconds, then stopped, and then it rang again. My cabin isn't big at all, and it's really just like three small rooms: my room, a kitchen, and a bathroom. It was coming from the bathroom from an air duct on the floor. The vent cover wasn't screwed in, which I thought it was, but I just picked it off and saw this flip phone inside. I grabbed it, and it had some nasty smell to it and some goo-like substance on it. It was blue. The goo was blue. I opened it, but the screen was cracked and the backlight was on, but it was just a black and bluish light. Then it made a ding sound, like a notification. I started looking up the specific phone model to find out more about it, but as I was doing that, the phone rang. I looked at it for a second, and then I decided to pick it up, and then I heard a voice say, "Hey, are you back in yet? It's time." I hung up and made sure all the doors and windows were locked. I hid in my closet with my rifle, called 911. They said a deputy would be with me in about an hour. I was so scared. I was kicking myself for living all the way out here alone. But I was also trying to figure out why anyone would want to do something to me, and how and why they got into my house and hit a phone, which, knowing someone was in my house made me feel even sicker. But that also means they definitely wanted me. They weren't just there to steal something. They wanted to do something to me or take me. And after about an hour and a half, I heard sirens, which I was so fucking relieved to hear, and then knocking on my door. And the cop yelled, "It's the police." I fastly but cautiously walked toward my door and met the officer and let him in. He searched the place and the surrounding woods and found nothing. He looked at the phone but couldn't do much with it. He just took it as evidence. He took my statement and then told me it was probably some moonshiners, which I had never seen or heard about any being in the area, but I don't doubt if there is. But he also said I should find somewhere else to stay for the night, which I did. I followed him back to town and then set off for my parents' house 2 hours away. I'm planning on moving.